Welcome to Antonia's AJ Soundbooth. I'm your host, and this is the podcast where we meet some of the most influential, exciting artists emerging on the music scene, as well as figures shaping our culture in music, arts, and entertainment. Today, I'm thrilled to introduce a powerhouse in the world of funk, soul, and disco, Helena May. Welcome.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much, Antonia. Hello.
You're welcome. And I must say, I'm just loving your look, and I'm inspired today. Very
Thank you. I'm
inspired.
bringing the color. I'm bringing
You're bringing the
Christmas
vibrancy.
color.
That's
Thank
what we
you.
need. And I'm demonstrating what winter is really like with my woolly.
Yeah, but
Great
you're nice
combo.
and warm. Like that's the
Yes.
important thing.
That's it. So, Helena, you've had quite the musical journey from London to Vienna, where you are right now. So,
Mhm.
how have these two vibrant cities influenced your music and artistry as well?
Yeah, I moved to London in 2016 from Cardiff. I was really keen to move to London, but I first started in Cardiff with my training. And I had my first 9 years professionally in Cardiff. And London for me was always like the city to go to. And I was always very, very excited to see where my career could develop. I was session singing a lot, working in lots of different bands. And I'd always had a goal and a dream to do my own original music. And moving to London kind of it opened up the idea definitely further for me to do original music. I met an Austrian bass player called Stefan Redenbacher when I moved to London, and we had a residency at the 606 together. We did an album together as well, which is called Part of Me. And it's a funkified versions album. So stuff that you wouldn't expect to be in a covers realm in jazz funk. So it was really exciting to have that process to make an album, and I knew that I really wanted to develop and continue further originally. And I had the opportunity to come over to Vienna because of Stefan. He was like, "Yeah, just check out Europe, go to Vienna, go to Austria. They have a very cool soul and funk scene there." And I met so many different musicians, and I met my partner, Fabian Vollner, we're making my project and my music together. So he's helping me co-write, he's producing, mixing, and we have a studio in Vienna. So yeah, the whole introduction from London brought me over here to Austria. And I love it so much. And to go between the two cities as well, it's very, very exciting. They're both so vibrant and so different from one another.
Amazing. So you kind of led me into the Austria kind
Yeah.
of realm. I actually did travel to Austria sometime this year, and it was amazing. Just over the mountains. I couldn't believe it. You've got to see it to believe it. The pictures do not lie. That's what I've got to say.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Beautiful
it's so
place.
beautiful. Like now in the winter season, you've got the skiing season coming up, and it goes on like from December through to March, and it's just beautiful when you're out there on the mountains.
And that kind of gives me that sense that's where you get your inspiration from as well.
Yeah, I think I find being out of London gives me a lot of further headspace and creational space. I think also having the studio here with Fabian, it's my music is very much inspired by London. It's Brit funk. It's
Yes.
soul from late 80s, 90s, 2000s. I'm hugely inspired by Jamiroquai, Incognito, Brand New Heavies. So for me, my goal and my hope is to be a new inspired generation of that. And what's really exciting is I'm able to bring that over to Europe and to experiment and push it out to Europe. Because of course there's so many people doing it in London and they're very inspired and they get it. Like people get it as Brits. And I think that's what's quite exciting doing it here in Austria as well is there are people that are so excited about that it's kind of yeah, it's an exciting new realm as well for people as well, because you wouldn't typically expect Brit funk in Austria.
I love that Brit funk. I know what you mean, but you're bringing that culture over and that
Yeah.
scene and the movement. It sounds like a movement to me. And I know that you performed at iconic venues like the Royal Albert Hall and Ronnie Scott's, and being on stage between London and Vienna and across the world where you
Yeah.
traveled. Do you have a favorite memory from the stage?
I have to say, Royal Albert Hall in May was a huge highlight. Of course, it's the Royal Albert Hall. It's iconic. There's no, yeah, there's no feeling like it when you're up there on that stage. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see where the journey takes us. But I think that to experience it is something very, very special. I did it with Kokomo, who are originally a band from the 70s that used to tour with the Average White Band. And they have so much history behind them. They're so legendary. I've been very, very, very thankful to be a part of their reformation the last 10 years. And I've grown so much from that experience of that really old school soul, like British soul.
Yes.
And they are very much they're influenced. They have like a Bill Withers kind of this like American soul with it as well, like Aretha Franklin, all close part harmony. It's all three-part, four-part harmony, and it's really, really special. And I think Albert Hall definitely was a big one. And I got to support Matt Johnson from Jamiroquai in
Amazing.
May as well. It was my birthday month too.
Oh, happy belated.
You. And that was extremely special because I've loved Jamiroquai since I was 12 years old. And that's been a dream for me to be in the same room as Jamiroquai players. Like and to have that opportunity and meet Derek McKenzie, the legendary Ernie McCone, who's an incredible bass player who's with Galliano from yeah, legendary Brit Funk people. And Matt Johnson himself. Like Jamiroquai, they have a new album coming out next year. They're going on tour. Yeah, it's
Wow.
exciting, to have that
You're taking me
introduction.
on a journey and I'm just delving more into it. It seems for
So,
2025 we're going to be going more down that route, especially
yeah, for
playing
sure.
your some of your tracks on the show on Saturday Breakfast as well. And I know that your music often weaves personal experiences into funky, upbeat grooves, but how do you balance emotional storytelling with the infectious energy of funk and soul? Because as you say, brand new heavies, heard some of those tracks, and some are amazing. But then when you look at the meaning behind some of the
Mhm.
lyrics, it does hit home. But it's like, how do you bring that balance and that emotional side?
I love I love playing with the juxtaposition of it. I really do enjoy that. And I've found that being truthful in storytelling is so important and to actually I want my music to be relatable and connecting with people and definitely about having the truth and bringing the stories through to the upbeat songs. There's a song called Sweet Memories, which we brought out in September. We recorded it at Metropolis Studios in London, and this was an iconic session I did. I'm so excited about it. We had Joss Stones, MD, and guitarist Steve Down on it, Julian Crampton from Incognito, the original. Carl Vanderbosch, who works with Sade, has worked with Sade, and it was so special. And this song in particular was actually, if you look at the lyrics, that's very deep and very sad. It's about grief. It's about an experience that I had earlier. Well, it was a year prior, but the that experience brought out the song. So the journey of going through grief, it just wrote itself. So the words came from that experience about the bittersweet and the guilt that can come from it and the sadness and and also the lovely times as well, like the lovely, gorgeous memories that come from remembering someone. And that's what Sweet Memories is all about, but it's enwrapped with like the biggest in your face acid jazz.
I can imagine.
Dance
I was
number
trying to
with
think of the
five
combo.
horns, it's big with percussion as well. Like it's
Wow.
very, very exciting. Yes.
It sounds so dynamic, and just to be in that live studio, there's nothing like live performance, even theatre. Cinema is great, but when you see it in person, and having myself worked in that theatre environment, it's magical and amazing to see that. And I can just imagine, as you say, the emotional roller coaster, and then you've got the sound coming through, and
Yeah.
oh wow,
It was
amazing.
amazing. We
Yeah.
have a live session on YouTube of it. So we did a live tracked version that will be living
Yes.
on the album. So Puzzle Pieces side A is out now. There's 4 tracks on there. Sweet Memories is part of it. So, and it will become a full album. So
Amazing.
we're still in production at the moment, but we will be releasing throughout 2025. But yeah, Sweet Memories is tracked for the album, and then we also did a completely live session, which is on YouTube. And yeah, it's so special. I love it a
Yeah.
lot.
I've seen a few of the snippets of YouTube and just brought life this morning having a listen over
Yeah.
breakfast. So like, should I be eating or dancing? You know, it's
Nice.
not good for you, is it? I did a bit both. Somebody new is catchy and empowering. Can you share the story behind that?
Well, somebody new came out little while ago, actually,
Mm.
which was about I had an experience with a major record label that approached me. This is actually the real truth behind
Oh,
it.
exclusive.
Exclusive. And yeah, it's always really exciting when you get a big opportunity. I think in music, I think maybe education, how we're brought up, maybe I don't know, 10, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, you couldn't really be releasing music without major labels. And there's always like this excitement about having that opportunity. And when it did come round for me, I thought, wow, of course you would. This is it. This is fantastic. We've been releasing stuff with Sheeple Records, and we still are independently. And this is what's really exciting about
Yes.
that we're continuing independently
Yes.
now. But at that time, I thought, wow, this is so exciting. They're gonna really help me to push further, to get my music out there more. But it was a dream that didn't come true in the end, and I was writing somebody new for them originally, and then they didn't think that it was good enough. That I wasn't good enough. And I then decided to say, well, I think I am.
I
And
love that.
we
Love it. That.
released the song, and it's called Somebody New, which is all about, yeah, there's an essence of trying to be someone that you think they want you to be, but really you just need to be yourself.
Oh wow, that literally just ties into a guru who I follow on Instagram. Posted on my
Really?
Instagram stories, and he was saying, if you're a flower, you're a flower. You can't
Yeah.
be you can't be a rose. Stop trying to fit in to be a rose and keep on saying, I want to be a rose, I want to be a rose. You've got to be that flower, be who you are. And that all those setbacks can't be easy if
Hmm.
someone says you're not good enough in so much words. Sometimes it can stall your growth. Some people just say that's it, but a no doesn't always mean a no. It means yes. And I'm so glad that you just decided
Hmm.
to follow your direction and know what you believe in.
Thank you.
And
Yeah,
that's
it took a little
amazing.
time to like really think about, okay, who actually do I want to be as an artist? How do I want to continue? Because we'd already released the Funkalicious album, which is my first album, completely independently throughout 2021. We wrote most of it during the lockdowns, and it has 19 people on it, and that was very exciting to have so many musicians involved. A lot were recorded remotely. And then when we wrote Somebody New, I then was like, okay, what do I want to do next? What is the next journey? And this is where Puzzle Pieces came from. This whole experience about creating your image, your puzzle, creating like bringing the pieces together in your life to make the picture that you want to.
Yeah.
Um,
And would you say, um, where you say you've got to put your pieces together, just your advice for any artist or any of our listeners, would you say you have to have it made or it's an ongoing journey? Because I love when you say puzzle pieces. I know what the answer is to some degree. Sometimes it's not hard to live it, but you know the answer. But how easy is it?
it's extremely hard. I think in any career that you do choose, and especially in self-employment, you've got to have so much belief in yourself. I think as an artist, you need to be your number one fan and you need to be able to cheer yourself on even through the darker times, the times where you doubt yourself. I'm 16 years in now, professionally, but we're 4 years into the original project, and I have to remind myself every day that the struggle is might be real, but you need to persevere, you need to believe in it. Surround yourself with good people around you that believe you too, that trust in the process as much as you do, and
I
they encourage
agree.
you.
I
And they encourage
agree.
you. Yeah, yeah. And I think it's about over time, like trusting and building your tribe around what you are creating. And in the end, the picture will create itself over time, but you can't give up. Like you just have to keep going.
I love that. You just can't. That's right. Very, very assertive. We can't. And it's, as you
Oh,
say, falling back on the people around you and your tribe is your vibe, as they say, and
yeah.
having the supporters because they do say the vision begins with yourself, but if you have those that support you along the way, that's really important, who you can go to. And you've also mentioned working with British and European collabs for your projects. But what excites you most about these partnerships? Having that, global, international, and
I love that every different person has their different flavors. I think I'm so inspired by the whole collection of Jamiroquai albums, because and also if you think about Incognito as well, like their lineup, they have like core people that have stayed throughout the years, but also the lineup has changed, and they
yes,
have different people on different songs that give different flavors. Yeah, you might have the front people might stay the same, aka JK, but Jamiroquai is a huge
yes,
inspiration for me with my writing and yeah, my vocal work, my singing, my phrasing, and just how free um as artistry they are as bands. And I love that different people and different musicians, like you might have a different drummer or bass player that are coming together for a first session, and then something just magic comes out of it. And I love that we have different people on different tracks because it opens up the collaboration. I think it opens up the tribe. It opens up like
and creates a vibe.
just creates a vibe, absolutely. And I think that's great because I think music really shouldn't be closed. I think if you want to be reaching out to people, reaching out to audiences, I think reaching out to musicians in the first place should really be at the core of creativity and allowing people to give their essence and their gift to the music. And I've found as well throughout this whole writing process is if you don't ask, you never know. And this has also been a very brave thing for me because when I first started out, I thought I had to learn all the instruments. I had to be able to explain, through the instrument how to create my music. But actually, I realized that the people were around me and wanted to be part of that process to help me write it. So, and they give so much like special vibes to each song.
And when you say picking your, I would say handpicking your tribe, um, how do you do that? How do you go about it? Because sometimes you get people along the journey who are there for a short period of time or shouldn't be on the journey. How I'm being nice. How easy is it to kind of weed that out.
Yeah, I think you have to learn as you go along. You have to go through and find the right people. I think if you're giving good vibes, but you're also looking after yourself and you have boundaries, then only good things really should come
Of
your
course,
way. But of
100%.
but of course, you then also have to learn that sometimes it just doesn't go quite right how you want it to. You had that experience, but you learn how to pick yourself back up and how to deal with the situation there and then, and also the next time as well.
Leading on from that, how do you see your music contributing to the global funk and soul scene? Like your name up in lights,
Uh,
it's like glitzy.
yeah.
What are you seeing for yourself?
I'm seeing the next album for sure, which I'm very excited about, like releasing side B. That's the short-term goal at the moment for 2025. I would love to do a tour with it at the end of next year. Have a brand new vinyl with it. So this is all short-term goals, but what I really want is to have more shows and meet more people and connect with audiences because that my act is a live act, I think. I want it to connect as as pieces of art, as pieces of music that people can listen to or watch and enjoy digitally. But I find being in a live space, that's when it really does come alive. And I have the horn section and I'm able to see the people and to connect and to speak with people and just to keep growing with that. That's what I really, really want. I want the music to connect and to help people anyway, whatever it is, if it's to have a big party, to get through hard times. The most the greatest moments for me actually is if I get when I speak to people, if I find that there's connection there or some sort of help or just getting to know people in the world. I think that's very exciting.
It is. And you seem to be kind of going into the other questions as I'm thinking more as we talk around. I'm like, oh, I can ask this, I can ask that. So where you spoke about your listeners in a live environment or how they feel, they could be at home. And what you hope them to feel when they listen to your music or take away from your songs. Have you had any of those special moments? You probably had numerous, where someone said, right, I've listened to your song and this has helped me through this situation, um, in any form.
Yeah,
And what's that
absolutely.
done for you?
Yeah, it happened very recently. We just did a show celebrating the side A in Vienna at the beginning of November, and I had one lady that messaged me the very next day, and it really touched me. This message, she didn't have to message this, but it was really a detailed, lovely, beautiful yeah, message that she sent me telling me how much the music, she'd never seen the act before. This is what's so special about it is that she decided to go to the show just to see who this Helena May is. This British girl in Vienna. What's she doing here? And yeah, and she told me how much she loved the show, how the music spoke to her, and that she hadn't stopped listening to my songs. It was about a week afterwards, after the show, and that how much the songs had spoken to her and how much they had actually helped her. And she picked out a couple of songs in particular that she really found had helped, and she said thank you so much and to keep going, to keep with the journey. And it's like moments like that where you go, okay, like this is what makes
Yes.
the the blood, sweat, and tears all worth it is finding that connection with someone that the music can help. And that's also, I don't expect it, but I hope for it, you know?
That's really made me think about there's times in life where a friend or a family member sends you something to inspire you. And I had that the other day. And now and again, I get little messages. And I'm like, are you thinking what I'm thinking? Why are you
No.
in my thoughts? And so to flip that around, how do you stay inspired and continue to grow as an artist after such an accomplished career? What a lot of people may not know is that the more advanced you are in the career, the more pressure comes on board. They may see a smiley face, but there's a lot to take on board. So too much is given, much is expected. You're in the public eye. What do you do to stay inspired and grow yourself?
I try not to spend too much time online, as well as, of course, being having to be an online presence. But then so whenever I am online, I'm following people that really inspire me, like artists that I feel very excited about, that I can see their achievements that are happening over a progression of time. Like, for example, Ray is a female artist that I find so incredibly inspiring at how her struggle has been and how honest she is and how dedicated she is to her art. Another one, Ezra Collective. They're guys that have been like working their butts off the last 10, 15 years, and now, they've gone and got a Mercury Prize for it, and now they're doing such incredible, incredible things. So I find I'm looking at artists that inspire me. I'm trying to see the great excitement that's coming from people's career because it can be really easy to compare the journey sometimes and to feel like, oh, well, I'm not there yet. But actually, you really should champion the people that are there, that have been, that are independent, that are pushing forward, pushing through. I take time to read books. I really love Matt Haig. I find Matt Haig's books to be so powerful with his just so honest. I'm reading a book at the moment about letting go, which is definitely helping with just allowing things to be and just to let it sit and whatever it's because of course I can be impatient sometimes. I'm very driven. I want to be as successful as possibly can where I am right now. But yeah, that book is very helpful for me right now. Yoga and brunches. They're also
Oh,
ones.
yes. I love that combo. It always helps, doesn't it? Brunch, bit of food,
Yes.
and some
Love it.
favorites.
Yeah.
So quick questions for you. But without even thinking about it, if you could create a dream collab with any artist, past or present, who would it be and why?
Jamiroquai.
I know. How would I have guessed?
JK.
That's it. And
Yeah.
why?
Oh, he's just a lyrical melody genius. I just love how his brain works, how he creates. I find him so inspiring. The fact that he sings the tunes, like this is exactly how I love to write too. And seeing that he does it in that way really inspires me. Because like I said earlier, I thought that I had to learn every single instrument to be able to create a song. But it's like, well, no, if you find your best skills and how you can write and how you can express yourself, you can, and finding the right people to help you write it as well, you can do it. And that's exactly what JK does with his band. And he's just writes music for music. And I
I like
love
that.
that about it. And that's exactly what I want to do too. I don't want to, it can be really easy to conform in music sometimes to feel like you're writing songs for a certain thing, but actually it should be what the music is meant to be first and
Music.
foremost. Write for the music.
That's
And if
it.
people like it too, then amazing. Come and join the journey.
So in life, I'm going down that road. we create something. It could be a cake, it may be a meal, it may not taste nice. But what, out of your tracks, what track has really surprised you? And I'm saying one that you thought, "Mm, no, I'm not really feeling that track," but it's really surprised you when it's been created and the response that you've got from that.
Oh, wow. From one of my songs.
Yeah.
I have to say the Still Here from the new album. So this is the soul ballad, and this is scary territory for me
Oh,
because it's scary in the sense of it's revealing and it's very honest. I love songs that are just party, danceable, fun, um, honest. But this song is very much exposing the deeper, darker thoughts of self-doubt and also like what are we doing with our lives and like what is actually happening and what is the meaning of our presence and what do we bring to the world. And I was very actually quite scared, but nervously excited all at the same time to like just be brave and to release it. And that song for me has been a real surprise because it got it got the attention of Jazz FM and it got played a lot. And it even made Danielle Perry's song of the week on the playlist. And that for me was incredible to get that in July and to actually realize how much people connected with that song. And again, it made me realize that the truth, when you bring out the truth in a song, like that's the should be the essence, and that's the specialness of
yes.
music.
That just feels like that light bulb moment there. I wanted to get out the harmonicas and and say yes.
Yeah, I was exposing. I was like, I'm not sure because every time I listened to it, it made me want to cry because it's bringing up the emotions and it's bringing up so much. Yeah, honesty behind the facade of a smile. And yeah, I was really, really happy with how much that ha response it had, and it's given me more courage to actually be more exposing and maybe write a little bit more in that way.
Thank you. And just in our final few minutes, we've got some closing questions. Um, if you have any advice for any aspiring artists who want to break into funk, soul, or disco, what would you tell them?
I would say be honest. What do you like? What does your music want? What do you want to say with your music? And have a good time with it. I think yes, it's important to write music and have something that is connecting to you, but also to enjoy the journey at the same time and to keep persevering even through the struggle. And even if a song doesn't quite work, don't worry about it. Keep going and write another song.
That's it. You can put it down and start another one, and it comes back because, as you know, there's a saying, Rome wasn't built in a day, and there's so many different sayings. But yes, that's very important. So, how can our listeners find out more about you? Have you got any other performances coming up that you can let us know about? That'd be amazing.
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube as Helena May Music. Where else can you find me? Well, I'm gonna be back in London later in the summer, actually. I have Pizza Express in Holborn show, which is happening at the end of July. That for definite is happening, but for sure I will be back in the UK prior to that. But that's definitely happening. That's the 30th of July.
Thank you.
And yeah, there's a few things, very exciting things that are on the horizon and a little tour that I'm planning. And yeah, you can just keep in touch with me on the socials and I
Perfect.
can keep you informed.
And just if you had any quote, your go-to quote, what would that be if you've not got a new one, or what's your existing one? Mine is like box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. Forrest Gump.
Yeah, I love it. I would say if you don't ask, you never know.
Thank you so much, Helena. It's been amazing. And we wish you all the best. And we're going to be following you and watching your journey. And we'll support it as much as we can on AJ Soundbooth and on Phoenix FM. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.